These McDonald's ingredients destroy your gut from the inside out. It triggers fat storage, bloating, and long-term inflammation. You've eaten it for years without knowing the damage until now. You know, the first thing people think when they hear McDonald's is bad for you, they picture sugar or salt or maybe too many calories. But here's the truth. The real villain inside McDonald's food is far sneakier. Something that hides in plain sight on their ingredients label. And it's silently destroying your health. It's time to reveal those ingredients. And at the end of the lesson, I'll share my go-to fast food restaurant and what I order when I'm at this specific restaurant. The first ingredient that is really alarming is going to be what they fry their foods in. Whether it's the French fries, the chicken McNuggets, hash browns, or even the apple pies, they're all either deep fried or coated in a toxic oil blend. This isn't just oil. It's an industrial chemical product that our ancestors never ate. Your body has no idea on how to process them. The McDonald's fryer and ingredients mixes rely heavily on canola oil, soybean oil, and corn oil. Also, hydrogenated soybean oil, and to make matters worse, they're often blended with citric acid as a preservative and dimethyl polysiloxane to reduce the foaming in the fryers. Here's why this matters. These oils have a very high concentration of omega-6 fats. Many people who struggle with inflammation is because they have a high ratio of omega-6 fatty acids in their body to a low percentage of omega-3 fatty acids. The average is around 20-1, meaning for every 20 omega-6 fat in the body, there's 1 omega-3 fat. Why is this a problem? Well, the body loves a ratio of 4-1, and it depends on the different organs and what we're looking at, but in general, 4-1, meaning 4 omega-6 to 1 omega-3. When there's an imbalance here, too much omega-6 to omega-3, it will create inflammation, weight gain, gut issues, and eventually some really serious conditions. These fats they're frying in are very unstable. They're called polyunsaturated fatty acids. And I'm not going to get into the chemical science of this. I talk about this in chapter 4 of Metabolic Freedom. But here's what you need to know. There was a toxicologist who studied French fries fried in these bad oils that McDonald's fries with. And he observed the toxins that were produced after frying in them. And one of the toxins he noted was a toxin called aldehydes. You may or may not be familiar with aldehydes. The reason why tobacco cigarettes, smoking cigarettes, is linked to cancer is because when you smoke tobacco cigarettes, there are aldehydes that are produced because aldehydes are what's called carcinogenic, cancer-causing. And here's the crazy thing about the study. His name is Dr. Martin Grutfeld. He showed that 25 French fries, okay, that is a large order of French fries at McDonald's. These 25 French fries produced the same amount of aldehydes as smoking 25 tobacco cigarettes. This means if you just eat one McDonald's fry, you're essentially smoking one tobacco cigarette. Think about how many French fries you've eaten from McDonald's. When I was a teenager, I ate at McDonald's every single day. Maybe 10,000, 20,000 French fries. That's like smoking 10 to 20,000 tobacco cigarettes. Oh, and it's just not the oils that's the problem. It's some other ingredients, which I'm going to outline. But before we reveal the other ingredients, I have to share a true story with you. When I was a kid, I was obese. Not just chunky, not husky. I was fat. And guess where my mother worked? Kentucky Fried Chicken. You can't make this up. That's like, I don't know, a drug addict's mother, a cocaine addict's mother working for the Colombian drug cartel. Every day after work, she'd walk through those doors and I would hear her walk through the door and I would say, "Here comes the Colonel." And she'd give me a bucket of fried chicken cooked in these vegetable oils and I would devour it. It was like a feeding frenzy. But some days she would walk through that door without any chicken. And these were, dark days. And I'd say, "Mom, what the heck? Where is my chicken?" She'd look at me dead in the eyes and she'd say, "Ben, they're still frying in the same oil." And I'm like, "So what? I don't care." And she'd say, "Ben, it's been 14 days. The oil is pitch black. It looks like motor oil." You see, when they're frying in these inflammatory oils, these fast food restaurants, they're reusing the oils over and over and over until it turns so dark, then they swap it out for a, we'll say, fresh batch, although it's never fresh. Something to consider. Now, let's reveal the other ingredients here. The chicken nuggets at McDonald's contain sodium aluminum phosphate and sodium acid pyrophosphate. This disrupts nutrient absorption and has been linked to gut irritation. McNuggets also contain natural flavors. Natural flavors can legally contain dozens of chemical compounds under one label. They also contain citric acid. This is an industrial form and in some cases made with GMO black mold, irritating to sensitive guts and destroying your mitochondria. The French fries. Yes, I outlined the vegetable oils, but what else does it contain? There are 19 ingredients in the McDonald's French fries. It should be just potatoes and salt, but unfortunately, it's 19 other frankenfood ingredients. It contains dextrose, which spikes blood sugar, natural beef flavor, which often contains hydrolyzed wheat, and milk derivatives, which disrupts your gut. And it contains sodium acid pyrophosphate. This keeps the fries from turning gray, but can irritate the gut microbiome. What about the buns? The buns contain enriched bleached wheat flour, low in nutrients, high in glyphosate, and will give you a big glucose and insulin response. The buns also contain azenobicarbonide, which is a dough conditioner that has been banned in Europe for years. As a matter of fact, their ingredients in their McDonald's French fries and and buns are different than the ingredients in the US. The buns also contain mono and diglycerides. This can contain trans fats without having to list that it has trans fats. And of course, they contain high fructose corn syrup, which creates fatty liver disease and visceral fat. What about the cheese and the sauces? McDonald's uses processed cheese slices on their burgers. These contain emulsifiers that disrupt the gut bacteria. They also contain carrageenan, used in sauces, linked to inflammation and gut irritation. And then, of course, artificial colors that can alter the gut microbiome and alter your brain chemistry. So to recap here, the oils and the additives irritate your gut lining, leading to leaky gut and eventually autoimmune conditions. It creates something in the body called LPS endotoxins, which leak into the bloodstream and triggers immune system inflammation. This leads to chronic inflammation, which leads to insulin resistance. Now your body's storing more fat, especially visceral fat, the fat around your organs. The calorie load from the fried foods spike your blood sugar and insulin levels, creating fat storage. The imbalance of omega-6 to omega-3 keeps inflammation so high, you never tap into fat burning. So what do? What are the options here? If you're in a pinch and need to grab food, here's what I would do. Number one, I would skip fried foods entirely. Opt for grilled options. Still not perfect, but less damage. Avoid the buns and the sauces. Drink water instead of soda. And I told you I would share the fast food restaurant that I go to when I'm in a pinch and tell you what I order from that restaurant. So the restaurant is Five Guys Burgers and Fries. When I go there, I get their burgers without the bun and without the French fries. I get it with bacon, and sometimes I'll add some pickles on top and some mushrooms. They don't use any oils in their burgers. It's just ground beef, it's the bacon, and they cook it in its own fat. So you don't have to worry about the oils. I would get it without the bun. Now, if you did have their French fries, which I don't recommend, they do use peanut oil. And peanut oil is not the healthiest oil to cook with, but it's also not the worst. It's not as bad as canola, soybean, cottonseed oil, the oils that most fast food restaurants use. So it's a better option, not a healthy option, but in general, I wouldn't eat the French fries. Okay, let me get to the questions here that you have submitted on this topic. Before I do, I want to give you aisle by aisle grocery shopping list for you to understand what are the healthiest fats, proteins, and carbs to eat, what are the ones to stay away from. It's called my Keto Camp Blueprint Grocery Shopping Guide. I sell this for $100. I'm going to give it to you for free if you scan the QR code on the screen or go to ketocampblueprint.com. Camp is spelled with a K, or just click the link in the notes down below. You can download that free aisle by aisle grocery shopping list today. I also want to let you know that I talk a lot about this subject and healthy food swaps in my latest book, Metabolic Freedom. I'm doing a keynote book tour right now where I'm traveling the US, the Middle East. We're adding dates. Keynote book tour, book signing, meet and greets. I'd love to give you a signed book, meet you in person. If you go to benazadi.com/events, you can see my upcoming speaking gigs. Now let's get to your questions. What specific studies prove seed oils damage the gut lining? If you read chapter 4 of Metabolic Freedom, I have several references in there. I have the Dr. Martin Grudfeld reference about the aldehyde content. I have some scientific studies showing something called lipid membrane reorganization, meaning when you consume these bad fats, the oils that cook the French fries, the chicken nuggets, within hours, those fats go into your cell membranes. and they're there for years. The half-life of these oils it's 680 days, meaning if you stopped eating them today, 2 years later, half of them will still be in your body creating inflammation. So go read the book, especially chapter 4 of Metabolic Freedom. The book's available everywhere worldwide. Are McDonald's seed oils worse than the ones sold in grocery stores? Yes, because they're refrying with them over and over and over. Remember the story about KFC and my mother saying they didn't change the oil for 14 days. I don't know how long it takes for them to change the oil at McDonald's, but it's not one batch, they're done. No, it's several batches. So it is worse than the oils found at the supermarket. Can I detox from seed oils? And if so, how quickly? Yes. Once you start removing the bad oils and consuming healthier fats, butter, ghee, coconut oil, duck fat, beef tallow, you start to regenerate newer cell membranes and it gets rid of those bad fats faster. Add in fasting and strength training and autophagy and you'll get even faster results too. Do plant-based McDonald's options like the McPlant still have these same oils? They're actually even worse for you because it's fake food. It's not even meat. So yes, they contain the oils and they're actually a worse option than the actual burgers at McDonald's. Why does Europe's McDonald's have different ingredients than the United States? Great question. Many years ago, they created more strict guidelines for the toxins in their food supply, artificial dyes, preservatives, and we don't have those policies here right now. Hopefully that changes soon, but Europe doesn't allow that. So the McDonald's French fries, the bun, the McNuggets in Europe contain different ingredients than the ones you find in the US. Hopefully this inspires you to make a better decision. Share this episode with somebody you know. And thank you for watching and thank you for listening. And hey, I just published a brand new video on how to lose 5 pounds in 5 days following these 3 breakfast rules. I give you 3 breakfast options that help you burn fat, have amazing energy. Watch the video that's coming up. There's a clip and then click the video on the screen and I'll see you in that next lesson. So many people who are trying to burn fat unknowingly eat the wrong breakfast foods, which puts their metabolism in a fat storage state. When this happens, it makes it impossible to burn fat. It will be easy and the weight comes off as a side effect from addressing these 2 roadblocks. So the 2 roadblocks are